And welcome to LinkedIn Logs. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premiere. Nope, it's not. It is the Jobs Podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Episode 40. If you're watching the video, you may have seen me scoot back in my chair, reach behind me to my high-sitting dining room table, and grab a water bottle. You may have also seen my bare legs and seen that I'm not wearing any shorts or pants, which is very true. I'm not wearing any shorts or any pants. I'm sorry. I just got back from the pool and did not have a chance to record this on Tuesday. So I'm recording every podcast straight through. So starting with LinkedIn Logs and then Constitutionals, then Late Night Lately. Tuesday, I was helping out a friend. Well, first I did some personal business. I had to go visit somebody who was not feeling too well, so I went to visit them, and then they're fine now, which is good. Everyone's very happy. And then I went to help a friend record her podcast because everyone's got to have a podcast now. But she talked to. I mean, this is not a hidden thing. She talked to two WNBA adjacent personalities. One is rather a stylist for a WNBA player, so they talked about styling and everything. And then the other one is a former WNBA player turned current ESPN analyst, and we'll take the over under on if she remembered me at all. She did. Not my name, though. She's always said, hello. Yeah, first of all, taller than me. Hello. I haven't seen you in a couple of years. Okay. Anyway, that's that. What's going on with the job stuff? None so far. Actually, in the past 2 days, I've gotten so many emails. So many emails rejecting me. I've gotten emails from DraftKings. I applied to a couple of those. Let me a couple of jobs from them, or one job from them rather. Let's see. There was another job where I made a test video for them, doing a test script and again when I say test script and everything and test video, I did the bare. Because they were asking for not the bare minimum. They were saying, "Hey, just shoot us a reel really quick," and so I did that. And I did not get that job. And that's pretty much it. There's a couple other small things that were incidental. Am I disheartened? Yeah, a little bit. But also, I look like me. Yeah, you gotta be. Sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. Okay. So, any Hoosers. What else? What else is in the job sphere? Monday, the day before I usually the day before I usually tape this episode. Listen, I've had a very long, beautiful day for myself because I needed it. It was great. I'll talk about it in the Constitutionals more. But I usually go gym, which was tough this morning. Grocery store, which is all right. Then I saw a movie, and then I went to the pool. I'm just trying to enjoy myself while I can. Anyway, Monday, the day before I record this show, I said, you know what? I'm gonna redo my resume and my cover letter. I have grown tired of making different cover letters for different jobs. I will tailor it, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'm never going to tailor my resume. That's not going to happen. That's way too much. And that will, I don't think mental health is a thing, but that truly will just grind down on my mental well-being. I redid both with the help of ChatGPT, which is very important. I did not go to any other AI bot. I also did a little digging and did not a lot. I did like a bit of research involving some, would I say current or newer practices? But no, just some better practices for resume stuff. So I've taken what we as humans have done and what the AI bots have done, or what ChatGPT in particular has done, as well as I used a GPT, which is the module, what they call the modules. I used a GPT that are the underlying modules of ChatGPT. So someone built a GPT, which was a resume builder. It was the top resume builder. I just typed in resume. It was the one that was used the most. So I used that. I typed a very specific code where I say, "Hey," I always say this is very true. This is very true. I'm not kidding about this. I always say hello to the to whatever AI thing I'm using, whether it be Copilot or ChatGPT or even Google Assistant when I'm saying the keywords "okay" and then followed by the word Google. Okay, she didn't say anything. I have so many speakers around the house. I've never used Siri, even though I have an iPad and a Mac. But I would be nice to her. And I have a Samsung phone. Never have I ever used Bixby because I have no use for it. But I would still be nice to it, regardless. Whatever. And Cortana on Windows, but they got rid of her. Now it's Copilot. But I'm always courteous, and I said hello. Would you please be able to fix up my resume? Blah blah blah. Do this, do that, and just very specific things. And then ChatGPT, the GPT resume builder, and I work together to build a better resume. And dare I say, it's good. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. I wasn't going to do this, but the show needs to be 20 minutes to the minimum, so let me pop this open. So usually I'm only going to make 2 resumes this year, a January and a June, because June is halfway through the year. Let's see if I can window capture this. Okay. Let's see. What is this called? My resume. And I don't want to show my phone number. So it's very important I don't show that. Or my email address. But, oh, come on, man. We will move it up here. And bang. Oh, that's my phone number. Bang. I'll fix it in post. I'll have to remember how to edit something. So here are my jobs. I'm not going to move myself. I'll move myself. All right, so here are my jobs. If you're watching the video, you can see it. I changed the title to one job from CNN, and it's not news assistant. I changed it to production assistant. They reposted the job a couple of months ago, and I stole their post and put it under my credentials, which is true. I did do a lot of this stuff. As for producer for the Cartoon Network, I had that as well. Did all that stuff, changed the titles and whatnot. You know what? It just looks good. It looks good to me, and I think it really stands out. If you move over here, I do believe the skills are lacking. But that's neither here nor there. And I can't go any higher. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this without exposing anything. I did the summary too as well. The summary was very important that I redid that. But all in all, I think it looks good, and it's a fantastic bit of work, good piece of work. Even my mom said it was a good job, and she never says I do a good job. And the cover letter is great. I have to remember to re-edit that stuff. To re-edit this episode. But yeah, that's what I did. I fixed the resume, and even the GPT, it gave me action words. What it said was everything, like it rated. So here's what it did. Actually, you know what? I'll have to pop open ChatGPT. But what it did was let me click on resume. Oh, excuse me. Request, summarize. Okay, well, it didn't say my resume. But what it did was I fed it my resume, and it made its own chart for each job. So each job had like its own chart, and there were categories that were already pre-made. It was like, time, like how long it was, the name of the job, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And it gave them a rating. And so for the weakest rating, everything was above a 7 on its scale of 10. Everything was above a 7 except for my action words, which were, I believe, between 4 and 6 for each of the jobs. And all I had to do was change the action words, and it gave me like a 9 out of 10 on everything. It was great. It enjoyed everything I'd written down, and yeah, so we worked together, and that was fantastic. And I'm so glad that happened. All right, now, I, like a lot of other people in America, are still we're still looking for jobs. While we're not technically unemployed, a lot of people, there are people still who are, and those numbers have been released. It's the first Friday of the month. Thank goodness I'm doing this now. We've got the job numbers for May. This comes from the New York Times, written by, doesn't have one writer, so just say it comes from the New York Times. The U.S. hiring rises strongly. The pace of hiring was unexpectedly robust in May, showing a gain of 272,000 jobs, but it wasn't all good news. The unemployment rate ticked up to 4%. This is one of the highest months for hiring in this past, I'm going to say, so far this year. March was the highest with over 300,000, followed by May, and then January, and April was the lowest so far. Lydia DePillis wrote what to know about the jobs report. The American labor market delivered robust job growth in May. The Labor Department reported on Friday, even as unemployment rate ticked up. The unexpectedly strong hiring shows that employers remain undaunted despite pressure from high interest rates and slowing consumer spending. But there were some mixed signals in the report, with results from a survey of households painting a weaker picture than a survey of businesses. I believe inflation has cooled, but other prices among people, consumers, are rising, or they're at such high percentages that it just doesn't. It's a non-factor. Things as small as subscriptions are rising. Max is making its subscription $20. They threatened to do it last year, but then they're finally going through it with it now. And then even housing rates are still very high. So we have these mixed signals when it comes to the jobs report. And this is something that happens sometimes, not a lot. Ben Castleman writes that this is how it happens. The data released by the Labor Department was a mess of conflicting signals. It couldn't even agree on most basic question whether the economy is adding or losing jobs. Of the report also contained, along with the 272,000 jobs, the report also contained a survey from 60,000 households showing that the number of people who were employed last month actually fell by 408,000, while the unemployment rate rose to 4% for the first time in more than 2 years. This makes me think that people are either considering themselves unemployed when they're freelancing or contracting or something along those lines if something's coming up, or they're actually unemployed. The two surveys measure slightly different things. The employer survey includes only employees, for example, while the household survey includes independent contractors and self-employed workers. So there you go. But that doesn't explain this discrepancy last month. Adjusting the household survey to align with the concepts used in the employer survey makes the job losses in May look larger, not smaller. So there's too big of a is it median? Median is the thing that's in the middle. So a mean. There's too big of a mean, I guess. Over the long term, the two surveys generally tell similar stories, but over shorter periods, they frequently diverge. I wonder how trustworthy these surveys can be. I mean, I would assume that they're some of the most trustworthy surveys out there. The best trustworthy surveys out there. Oh God, I'm so tired. It's interesting. It's fascinating to think that as let's take out that 60,000 the survey with the 6,000 home Jesus households saying that unemployment fell by 408,000 or implied that it fell by 408,000, and let's just consider the 272,000 non-agricultural jobs added. I wonder where those sectors break down to, because from the outside looking in, as somebody who is a freelancer, contractor, what have you, it seems to me that those jobs that are being lost and also gained are in the white collar sector, but not the blue collar sector. And again, that's non-agricultural jobs. To me, it feels as though, because you're seeing layoffs happen all the time. We know they're happening at Paramount. We know they're going to happen. We know they're happening at Disney. We know there's always a cycle going on at Warner Bros. Discovery. I wonder where these jobs are leaning towards, because now we're having, Google and Apple and every other business wants everybody, Facebook, Meta wants everybody back in the office, or they have to pack their bags. Where do these jobs break down to for the month of May? And are they hiring? Because even the stocks are doing a bit better themselves. I'm going back up to Lydia DePillis. She also writes that wages were strong. Average hourly earnings rose 0.4% or 4.1% from a year earlier, which is stronger than expected. But the jobless rate hit 4% for the first time since January 2022. We're not going to talk about the Fed. Let's talk about what it means for the White House, or let's at least read about it. Biden said, "On my watch, 15.6 million more Americans have the dignity and the respect that comes with a job." Let me tell you about working at a country club. It'll be interesting to see the job report for June, because I'm going to go to C Plus Comedy's email, and I just type in the word layoffs, and I see that among Pixar and the Grio and Netflix and Marvel, even though these are all between May and April, I'm also seeing layoffs for smaller places, like the VFX firm DNEG. And then there's going to be some, let's see. I already have the Grio and all that stuff at Byron Allen's media company. And Warner. CAA, even though that was April. 5th season. It just seems like the layoffs are never ending. Why do we get into these jobs? Like, what? It's for a lot of us, it's not fame or money. It's just like, we have a calling. Hey, I'm good at this. I should be able to work in this. The jobs, it feels like this is just a cascade of unhiring. I would feel that, with a lot of people going on vacation, and I hate to say it, but pregnancies and people taking leaves and all that stuff of absences, if someone's going to be gone for 3 months because of paternal duties, or because they're vacational things, and you want to backfill somebody to hire for a couple of months, that wouldn't hurt, because that gives somebody task to do a job and a willingness to live, quite frankly, and also helps you as a company. And then maybe you'll finally find somebody that fits in. And then when that person comes back, then the other person you can that you've had for 3 months, you can tell them to go, or hey, we'll keep you in mind for the next time this happens, or hey, can you join the company on an interim basis? Yeah, it's whatever. It's all different. But hopefully it gets better, because it seems, even if these numbers are coming out and seeming positive, it's not positive all the way around. When you're in an industry that is ebbing and flowing, and right now it's ebbing hard. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where we talk to famous people. I didn't want to say it, but that's what happens. You can watch video versions of this show on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can find you can watch the other video versions of the podcasts, the Constitutionals podcast, which is the entertainment business news podcast, and the Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. You can find everything on cpluscomedy.com. You can subscribe to those podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at cpluscomedy. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends. Goodbye.